Okay, so in Chapter 2, we're doing additional Nemeth code symbols and formats used in pre-kindergarten through first grade. This is a little abstract until you start seeing the examples. So I want to read everything to you, but I won't because this video will be an hour long. So you need to make sure you read the key points and the information in there because it will give you more than just the examples are going to give you. What we're doing is talking about how do we switch from UEB into Nemeth. So these first two new symbols have to do with that. And a student in last semester who was trying to use these Nemeth symbols with UEB. The Nemeth symbols are not to be used with UEB in a UEB sentence. Okay? So this 456SH is the one that you use when you're about to start a whole bunch of Nemeth. Okay? If there is a number sentence inside of a word sentence, you will start the Nemeth code, use this Nemeth code indicator. Okay? When you finish Nemeth, if you're doing a whole page of Nemeth, no big deal. Okay? You just braille up what you need to braille up. If, however, you have George and Tom went to the store, they bought 6 plus 8 oranges, okay? Or they bought oranges, and then they have like all these number sentences that have to do with oranges, okay? So when you get a number sentence in or more, and you've been writing in words, you need to start a Nemeth code indicator. When you're done with the Nemeth, then you stop it. So you do 4x6 and a WH. Okay? So that's going to be in the examples, because I'm going to jump down to examples so you can see how these are used and why they're used. A single word switch is if you would like to use contracted braille in this sentence that has Nemeth in it, you would do a .6.3. That allows you to use contractions again. .56 is an English letter indicator. Again, that is like our grade 1 symbol. It's going to be used for the exact same reason. Okay? The ellipsis is .3.3.3. We learned in UEB that it was a period 3 times. That is no longer the case in UEB. It is .3 3 times. When you have a blank written with a long dash, like a line, then you will use 4 of the .36s. So 36, 36, 36, 36. Okay? That is a blank line. Okay, an opening transcriber's note there and closing transcriber's note indicator. We've got those for when you have to describe something or give further information about what you as the transcriber has done. Again, this is important if you're going to be transcribing books. If you're just writing up what the student needs as like a worksheet, I would just verbally explain stuff instead of using transcriber notes, especially at this age. Okay, so we have some key points here. Be sure that you read through these. This is important, but it's not going to make a ton of sense until we start seeing these in use. Okay? At least that's what I found when I was looking through this chapter. Okay, so this says expanded form, write each number as an addition problem, and then you have number 1 is 14, so they wrote 10 plus 4. Number 2 is 68, so they wrote 60 plus 8. Okay, then they've got number 3 through 6. So, because this has words in it, we went ahead and wrote expanded form, write each number as an addition problem, and then we have our opening Nemeth indicator, because all this 1 through 6 is just numbers, and we want to use Nemeth for that. Okay, so we do 4, 5, 6, and then an SH. Okay, so remember that you have to remember everything we've done so far. This builds on itself, so be sure you keep remembering what we did on the previous weeks. Okay, so we've got the number sign, a lowered 1, a 4, 5, 6 to stop it, and a period. Okay, number sign 14, number sign 10 plus 4. Okay, now in print it looks like they left a ton of space. Don't do that, because that just makes them kind of wander. They don't know there's something over there, and if they do, then they're kind of wandering all over the space and get off. So I would not do that. Don't leave a ton of space between things of this nature. Okay, and this page ended, and so you use the Nemeth code terminator. And on the bottom is the Braille page number. Okay, on the top you would put the print page number. Okay, be consistent within the document. Okay, the next example says Joe wrote 3 plus 6 equals 9. Is he correct? We're writing words. So Joe wrote, then we have to open up Nemeth. So 4, 5, 6 SH. Then we do our number problem. 3 plus 6 equals 9. Then we have to finish our Nemeth. Notice it does not touch the numbers. Okay, there's a space after the number before the finish Nemeth sign. So 4, 5, 6 and the WH. And then the period touches that. Okay? And then is he correct? Question mark. Okay, we have a single code word switch. We're going to see that here. It says watch the plus and minus signs. They use the actual plus sign and the actual minus sign. Okay, so it says watch the, notice they've got it in contracted Braille. They open up Nemeth and put plus. They switch just for the word and. It's still Nemeth, so the minus sign is used. Then they finish the Nemeth symbol. Do the finish Nemeth. Okay? So this switcheroo is just for a single word that you want to contract. Okay? And then it goes back to letters. How should Sunnery and his classmates write 19 minus 3? I also want to, before I run past this, they do have teaching tips as a TVI, up and coming TVI. Read these, because they will become important for you as you're teaching your students. Example 2.4. We've got math embedded in a word problem. When commas separate items, use the mathematical comma. So it says, how should Sunnery and his classmates write 19 minus 3, colon. So notice that was in words. So you also write it in words. Then they start Nemeth 456SH, and we've got 19 minus 3, comma, which is a dot 6. All right, answered the phone, and we're done with that. So we've got the math problem here. We finished it. We did the word switch sign for or. And then it continues to be Nemeth after that word. Okay? The finish it and then the question mark. Keep the math expressions and switch indicators on a single line if they'll fit. Okay? Whole numbers in word problems. So, since Nemeth code is only used to transcribe math and science notation such as math expressions and formulas, there are some math materials, especially for young students, that do not require Nemeth. In word problems, freestanding numbers are not considered math notation. Therefore, Nemeth code and Nemeth code switch indicators are not used in word problems that only have whole numbers. Okay? So it says Lee read 20 pages in the morning. He read 10 pages less in the afternoon. How many pages did he read in the afternoon? 20 pages and 10 pages. Those numbers are not a math sentence of any kind. It's just a number. So guess what? You get to use UEB. Woohoo! We don't have to switch to Nemeth. Okay? So we have Lee read 20. 20 is written in UEB math. Yay. Okay? Same thing for 10, wherever that fell. And here. So that's that. This is example 2.6. It's a kindergarten worksheet transcribed into UEB. So we have brushing teeth in print, in words. And then it says 5 minutes or 1 hour. Again, these numbers stand by themselves. They're not a number sentence of any kind. So you don't need to make them Nemeth numbers. And then it says sleeping 1 year or 8 hours. Okay? It may be helpful to teach young children to think of the opening Nemeth as a start or begin math, and the Nemeth Coast terminator as a stop or end math, which is what I do. Okay, that's a practice 2.1. Yes, I want you to do 2.1. So you're going to transcribe that into print. And then you're going to use your Perky Duck and write out or braille out this section that says sharpen your skills. Equations and problems with omissions. Okay. So your example shows a full cell for an omission. So 8 plus 2 equals, and then nothing's there in print. So they just use that omission sign. They use a question mark in the next number sentence. It says question mark equals 4 plus 3. So they use a full cell, equal sign, 4 plus 3. Okay? Can be used anywhere in a math problem. Teaching tip. In subtraction problems, the first number is the minuend, the second number is the subtrahend. The answer is the difference. In math and adding, it's add-ins are what you add, and the sum is the answer. So we have 7 minus question mark equals 1. We use the full cell for that. That happens again. If you need 2, go ahead and use that full cell for both. So example 2.10 says question plus question equals 7. There you go. If you have a blank for a operation, such as plus or minus, so this problem is trying to find out, what do? Do we add, subtract, multiply, divide? It says 3 question mark 9 equals 12. So they use that full cell again for the order of the operation. Sign of operation. Okay. It says, for example, 212, it says insert less than, greater than, or equal for each item. So it says 13 and 15, number 2 is 37 and 37, number 3 is 89 and 88. Okay, so we have, when we are transcribing the words, we just start, insert. Now we need to use the less than, greater than, equal sign. So we start Nemeth. We use the less than, the greater than. We've got commas, which are dot sixes. We did a word switch for the word or. And then we did equals, and then we stopped our Nemeth for each item. We start our Nemeth again and write our problems. Okay? Notice how they do this blank space here between 13 and 15. So number 1, stop the Nemeth period. Number 13, full cell. And then number 15. They don't just leave it blank, they put a full cell in there to mean that's what they need to fill in. When that worksheet is done, they stop the Nemeth again. Okay. Use space on either side of that omission symbol. Okay? So, like just 2.2, you're going to do for me. We're going to talk about this first one. It says 10 question mark 10 equals 20. So I have 10 space full cell space 10 space equals space 20. Is that correct? Or B, 10 no space full cell no space no number sign 10 equals 20. So let's look back. This is how we do it. We look back and we say, oh shoot, what did they tell me to do? Okay, so here's my example right in front of my face. Okay, we have a full cell there for a blank. Example 2.11, I went back and I see the 3 full cell 9 with no spaces on either side of that full cell, and no extra number sign. Okay, so now I should be able to go back to my problem and say, this one has spaces and another number sign. I don't need that. That's not right. Okay. The difference between B and C is that they both did no spaces and no number signs in the words in the sentence, number sentence. On the other side of the equal sign, B has a number sign in front of the answer, and C does not have another number sign. So I'm going to tell you, you need a number sign on your answer. You should know that. So B is your answer for number 1. Okay? So I've given you that one. You're going to transcribe again with Perky Duck. So when you're doing this for me, in Perky Duck, please write practice 2.2 and then your answers for it, and then practice 2.5 and your answers for it. Okay? I do not want to have to guess what you're doing. I will send it back to you and have you write what you're doing so that I can figure it out. Thanks. Ellipsis is dot 3.3.3. We talked about that. Here's an example. 10, 20, 30, ellipsis, 100. It takes the place of a missing numbers. Okay? There is, in general, a space before and after the ellipsis unless it's preceded or followed by a mathematical comma. Okay, so that's what happened in our example. Our ellipsis is here, 3.3s, and then we have this, what the heck? Comma! Comma is sitting right next to it, okay? Long dash, or the blank sign, okay? Here it is, an example. They have 7 minus 4 equals blank. So we have 4 of the 3 6s. Okay? There it is again. We have some examples. Teaching tip. Young students often benefit from using a base 10 blocks 100 chart or counting to 120 chart to determine the relationship between numbers or in order to write the missing sign of comparison. So one of those 100 charts we saw on the APH website would be helpful. Okay. In the next example, 2.16, we have a blank minus 5 equals 1. So they use this blank symbol because that's what's in print. So the 3, 6, 4 times. Shapes used as emissions. Seriously, they say you should go ahead and use some wiki sticks or graphic art tape, tactile sticker, foam sticker, textured paper. If you've got the time and the energy and the materials to do that, go for it. Otherwise, use a full sew. Unless you're a transcriber for a book. If you are transcribing a book, ignore my comment. Okay. So I think that's what it says here is, what's the purpose of the shapes? If it's just to indicate that it's a blank, just write a full cell. If it's because you want to make a relationship between the symbols and one symbol and another symbol. So like this practice 2.4 has 5 plus 5 equals a circle. 13 minus the circle equals something else. So if you follow this logic, 5 plus 5 is 10. If you put that, I don't know why I'm getting this pointer. Okay, now I've got 13 minus the circle, which is 10, would equal 3. Now we have this diamond shape plus 4. So 3 plus 4 equals 7. Okay? We've got English letter indicator here and multiple choice question. Okay. So, when I've got multiple choice questions, we have the choices A, B, and C here. This letter sign that we've been using, grade 1 symbol, and it's called in here the English letter indicator. It's essentially the same thing. It's used the same way, they just gave it a little different thing. Okay? So we have the number of the problem. So we have that stop symbol in there so we can get a period. And we have 5 plus, and then a blank equals the number sign 9. A is 3, B is 4, C is 5. So we put a letter sign in front of A, B, and C. Even though we know if we were doing UEB, we wouldn't need it because A is A, and it just doesn't ever change. It's A. Okay? 219 has a multiple choice problem where A, B, and C are the options. So they are capitalized letters, sorry. So you would just use your letter sign and then a capital and then the A. Letter sign, capital B, letter sign, capital C. Okay? If the next option is if they have periods after them. So you would do a letter sign A, stop, and then period. Okay? Because otherwise it would look like A4. We don't want that. Okay? So we got to stop. We still have to stop, even though we told the reader that this is A. We still have to stop and call that a period. Okay? What other fun things do we have? Formatting for young students. When directions precede numbered problems, they begin in cell 5 with run-over lines beginning in cell 3. Okay? I had a lot of weird stuff going on last semester about telling apart where the next number started. Some people spaced 1 line. Some people spaced 5 lines. Some people indented the number and then ran over with being all the way on the left, which is fine, which is what you should have been doing. So this is talking about starting in cell 5 and run over lines in cell 3. Okay? So if it's a really long word problem, you're going to go down a couple of times. Every time you go down, you start in cell 3. Okay? This is day 8 exit ticket, your example 2.21. We're going to center the heading, day 8 exit ticket, number 1. Write the number for each number word. And then they write them out, 18. And we're in UEB at this point. So you do a 4, 6, 3, 6, which is a blank line. Okay, we're not doing that 3, 6, 3, 6, 3, 6, 3, 6 because currently we're writing in UEB. Make sense? Okay. Number 2 is a word sentence. Notice these 8s are going to stand out by themselves. So when you write this sentence in words, use UEB numbers. Let's see if they did that. Okay. Tam makes 8. There it is. It's a UEB number. Cookies. And his grandmother makes 8 cookies. How many cookies did they make? Start. Nemeth. 1, 2, 3, or 4, 5, 6, I'm sorry, and SH. And then they did the number sentences for you. And here's the blank lines for the final answer. Okay. When students are first learning Nemeth code, they may need many opportunities to practice reading and writing whole numbers. To give them practice, teachers may elect to use Nemeth numerals throughout all of their math materials. Placing the opening Nemeth code indicators and Nemeth code terminators on separate lines assists young students in easily identifying when they're beginning or ending math notation. Okay. It talks about if they are given pictures to count, give them manipulatives to count instead. You can provide tactile shapes. You can do a full cell to count as well. Let's see. They talk about transcribers' notes. Really, at this age, you're going to need to tell them what's happening. Okay. So this is transcriber note opening. Ask your teacher for help. Closing. Right. So just tell them what you need to tell them. Okay? If they're that sophisticated, they're not in first grade. Okay. We've got another example here of how to do some things. So they have 3 different houses. They used rectangles for that. And then they have 6 different animals. We use circles for that. Okay? Collaboration with paraprofessionals. There's some good information there. And there's another practice of what would you do for the smiley faces? Perhaps a circle. Then we've got turtles. And I'd probably use a square or something like that. There are tactile materials that you might want to look into. I'm going to pull over. Nemeth here, or Amazon. Okay, so you can get shape stickers. You can get these, well, you might need to write foam shape stickers. There we go, assorted, multicolored, there you go. Right there. Some shape stickers that would be helpful for kids that you're working with on some of these early math worksheets. Okay? Yay, have fun.